your host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com. We broadcast live on YouTube and X. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. It is Monday, December 9th, 2024, and there is a lot happening in the sports world that we are going to try and deliver to you like a Christmas morning package over the next 30 minutes. Tune into the show. The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, whatever social media site you got, just follow us on that. Of course, 12OZ Sports, that's the mothership. 12, the number, OZ Sports. Head there, follow, go to YouTube, follow, go to X, follow, whatever it is, 12OZ Sports, and you can jump in on the action. A major signing happened last night in Major League Baseball. Juan Soto is officially off the board. He is a New York Metropolitan. Some of us might cheer, some of us might sad. It all depends on who you are a fan of. We will show you the contract details and talk to you about Juan Soto. The college football playoff has been announced. There were some winners and some losers over the weekend, but no bigger of a winner than us, the fan, who did not get the college football playoff to decide who they want in instead of who deserves to be in. And then it's Monday, which means Monday morning quarterback. We break down week 14 of the National Football League. We talk to you about all of the good gridiron things, and we get you ready for Monday Night Football, which is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Dallas Cowboys. A jam-packed Monday show here on the Rome Show, 12-ounce sports, always Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. All right, we're going to go here, and we're going to talk a little Juan Soto, because last night Juan Soto signed with the New York Metropolitans for a record-breaking 15 years. $765 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. The final contract, 15 years, $765 million. Some of the most important stuff to note is the fact that it is not a lot of deferred money. So when you look at the $700 million contract that was signed by Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers last year, a lot of that money is deferred. So Shohei is not going to make as much money while playing on that contract as he's going to off of that contract. Whereas the Juan Soto deal is not much deferred. I want to say it's almost like 90% he's going to make the money during the 15 years of the contract. And then 8 or 10% or so is deferred on the back end of the contract. This has been a conversation where Juan Soto will end up since Juan Soto signed with the New York Yankees, was traded to the New York Yankees from the San Diego Padres last off season. Now, a lot has gone into the discussion about this contract. This is the biggest contract signed in the history of Major League Baseball. And it kind of was, okay, this man's going to get paid. All right. He's going to make a lot of money. What is it going to come down to? And presumably it came down to the New York Yankees and the New York Metropolitans. The Yankees offering a 16-year deal worth $760 million. The New York Mets offering a 15-year deal worth $765 million. And there's probably some other things that go into it, but when we call a spade in this situation, Juan Soto, Scott Boras, and his team were looking for the greatest contract possible to sign. You could tell me all you want, and I'm a Mets fan, so I'm amped, but you could tell me all you want about chances to win and how good the roster is and all of that stuff, okay? But when it came down to it, he was deciding between whether he wanted to be in his last location for 15 or 16 years, and he wanted to make 760 or 765. And for me, at some point in time, I would like to think that the difference between $5 million at the point of making 750 or 760 or 770 should not matter at all. So what I think happened here is Juan Soto got offered the Brinks truck from every team that wanted his services, okay? For the Mets, that Brinks truck looked like 15 years, 765. For the Yankees, it was 16, 760. For the Toronto Blue Jays, it might have been 14 and 735. At the end of the day, Juan Soto was making over $700 million, and he was getting at least a 10-year contract at the minimum of minimalistic. Okay, so I do believe to a degree there is some aspect of Juan Soto that is making this decision baseball related. Because if you know you're going to get money, you know you're getting paid. There's no debate here. Like Bryce Harper a few years ago, Shohei last offseason. There are certain guys that are getting paid. It's going to happen, right? So then it's like, well, is their decision really going to come down to the difference between 600 million and 610 million? And maybe in a lot of cases, possibly, but I have this feeling, and this is just a feeling, just reading the reports, listening to the reports, watching the whole thing unfold over the last year. I have this feeling that Juan Soto made his final decision, the ink on the paper decision, based on his comfortability in that organization. Because you're about to spend more time with that organization than you are with the team that brought you to professional baseball at 16 years old in the Washington Nationals. The rest of your career, if goes well, is as a New York Metropolitan. So I would have to believe there's some type of decision-making in that process based on the type of environment I want to be on. We're talking about becoming a Hall of Famer. We are talking about putting yourself in immortality as one of the greatest players of all time. You're talking about for the rest of his career, every milestone, every hit, every big game, everything that leads Juan Soto to the Hall of Fame is in presumably a Mets uniform. So I would have to think, as somebody signing that contract going, I am 29 to 45, depending on how you look at it, percent through my career as a probable potential Hall of Famer. What's it going to look like at the end of this thing? I'm one of, and this is not a slight, it's just the truth, I'm one of 35 with the Yankees, which is awesome, the fact that their history is that good. Or I'm essentially one of 3, you know? It's me, it's Tom Seaver, it's Johnny Franco, it's David Wright. Like, it's not an insane amount, you know? It's the 86 World Series. That's it. So if I can come here for 15 years, also make the most amount of money being offered to me, but I love what the owner does. I love the franchise. I like what's going on. And for the next 15 years, all right, scratch that. For at least half of my contract, I could also play with Francisco Lindor, who also, that might also be super important to me. There's other factors. So the bottom line is Juan Soto chose the biggest possible deal. But when it got down to the end there, I'd love to know, get him inside of a room and say, what was the difference? Was it $5 million? Because the Yankees offered you 1 more year. Like, what was the difference? Why the New York Metropolitans? And maybe in his presser we'll hear over the next few days, and I'm going to look out for that. But at the end of the day, you must rejoice on Monday, December 9th, 2024, Mets fans, because Juan Soto is a Metropolitan. Now, I'll tell you this before we get into our Monday morning quarterback segment. Here are Juan Soto's career numbers up on the board. If you were wondering, why is Juan Soto worth $765 million? Well, because in his 7 years in the Major League Baseball, he's got 4 Silver Sluggers, 4 batting titles. He's got a World Series and a World Series MVP, and that's just the tip of the iceberg off the top of my head. Looking at those numbers, broke into the league in 2018. Juan Soto is a career 285 hitter. Okay. The other thing I'd like you to note when it comes to Juan Soto is the amount of games played per year. Okay. His rookie season, 116, sophomore, 115, 2020, COVID, 47, essentially the whole season, 151, 153, 101. Well, actually, that was 153 combined. That's Washington and San Diego when he got traded. 162, 157. Do you see a trend there? This is not your 2025 new age baseball player that gets paid. This is a mix of the old school guy, man. Yeah, he's got power. Look at the homer numbers, 27, 21, 35, 41. But he also has one of the best eyes in the game. 3 separate times. He's walked over 130 times in a season. He's only 2 years ago, his last year with the San Diego Padres was his worst year strikeout-wise. He had 129 strikeouts. In the season, he had the most strikeouts in his career, okay? He also had 132 walks. So his walk-to-K ratio was still better. And that doesn't happen a lot in Major League Baseball. Those are the numbers you look at with Juan Soto. He plays all the time. He might be a slight defensive liability. That is something that has to be figured out long-term, DH, right field, whatever the case is. But when it comes to an offensive player in Major League Baseball, in my opinion, this is the closest, really, we've been to a Barry Bonds-esque figure. Somebody that just controls the game so much that it does not matter what his batting average is in that moment or how many hits in a row he's had. He is that good. Juan Soto, 15 years, $765 million. And he is a New York Metropolitan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Rome Show. It's a Monday, December 9th, 2024. I would be remiss if I didn't take a second to wish my sister, Nicole, a very happy birthday. It is Nicole's 40th birthday today. Yep. Happy birthday, sis. I love you. She's out in California right now. So unless she got up at 4:13 in the morning to listen to the Rome Show, she probably won't hear her shout out till later. But happy birthday, Nicole Romanella, 21 years old today, December 9th, 2024. Very exciting stuff. All right, we'll let that roll us right into our Monday morning quarterback. I hope you liked your version of a little special happy birthday Monday morning quarterback. Time to roll. All right, people, let's dance. Football. Yeah, it happened, and it happened, a lot of it. The Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets played an overtime game last night that went 32-26. It saw Tua Tagovailoa lead the Dolphins down the field in the last 3-5 minutes. I guess it was all of overtime. That was a stupid comment. Jonnu Smith had 0 catches in regulation. He had 3 in overtime, including the game winner. Here is how that game finished, starting with Tua and the Dolphins
He definitely drugged it.
to get the boys into field goal range. And with that, Jason Sanders, 50, and the Miami Dolphins come away with a much-needed victory against the New York Metropolitans. They are now 6-7 on the season, and they give themselves the best possible chance to stay alive here in the National Football League. Aaron Rodgers had his first 300-yard throwing game in 35 games. Yes, you heard that correctly. First 300-yard game in 35 games. The Jets are now 3-10 and fighting for the first overall pick. The Jags, they went to Tennessee. These are 2 of the worst teams in the National Football League, and they played that type of a game. Tony Pollard for the Titans, he ran for 102. Mac Jones played for the season-ended Trevor Lawrence. Jags 10, Titans 6. Falcons, they lose again, 4 straight losses. Minnesota, they win again. They are 11-2. Sam Darnold, best game of his career, threw for 5 touchdowns, 347 yards, and was 22 of 28. Throwing the football. The Falcons, they've lost 4 in a row, and in those 4 games, Kirk Cousins is 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. They are now 6-7, and it might be time for the Michael Penix experience. You were wondering if it can get any worse for the New York Football Giants. Well, I'd like you to look on your screen because the New York Football Giants had a chance to to tie the game against the tie in arguably the worst football game you've ever witnessed. The New York Giants get there. Field goal blocked as number 90 literally jumps over the line and he blocks the field goal. And the Giants lose, moving to 2-10. If you were wondering, take a look at your screen. What a huge loss for the New York Football Giants. Why? Because they stay at 2-11. The Las Vegas Raiders, they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday. So the fight for the first overall pick is on. You have it between the Vegas Raiders 2-11 and the Giants 2-11. Right now, the New York Giants' chances of ending with the first overall pick is roughly 45%. Then you have New England, Carolina, Jacksonville, Tennessee, New York Jets, and Cleveland all at 3-10. So this battle of who's going to get the first overall pick has not ended yet. But if you head to tankathon.com, which is where I go to, it'll show you an updated chart of where the draft order will finish once the NFL season ends. We continue on. The Panthers and the Eagles. The Eagles, they win this game 22-16. You might be wondering why, and it's because Xavier Leggett drops this pass with 50 seconds left in the game from Bryce Young. Oh, what a pass there from Bryce Young. But if you watch it a little bit closer, you will see Xavier Leggett through the hands, into the turf, back into the hands, and not a touchdown. So the Eagles, they win their 9th in a row against the very awesomely fighting Carolina Panthers. They move to 11-2. The Panthers drop to 3-10. Another solid game from Bryce Young and another really good game from Saquon Barkley, who breaks the Eagles' single-season rushing record and continues to pace towards Eric Dickerson's all-time record of rushing the football. The Steelers, they beat the Browns 27-14 in this game. Russell Wilson threw for 158 and 2 touchdowns. Didn't need to do much more because Jalen Warren and Najee Harris combined for 100 yards and a touchdown on the ground. The Browns, they continue to stink. Jameis Winston, he threw 2 touchdowns and, yep, you guessed it, 2 interceptions as well. Not much there, but the Browns fighting for the first overall pick, which they're going to have to make a decision on a quarterback. The aforementioned Buccaneers, they're now in first place of their division because of the loss by the Falcons. They won 28-13 against the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell had to leave this game for the Raiders. So Desmond Ridder, the former first overall pick, finished the game. Seahawks, they beat the Cardinals. They move into real sole first place of the NFC West 30-18. Kyler Murray threw some picks in this game. It was a really good rushing day for Zachary Charbonnet. 22 carries, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Rams, they beat the Bills at home 44-42. Huge victory for the Rams as they stay in contention in the wild card. Puka Nacua was showing off in this game, but besides the way that he played, he was also showing off for the type of catches he was making. 12 receptions, 162 yards, and a TD. The 49ers, they beat the Bears 38-13. Great game for Brock Purdy. Threw for 325 and 2 touchdowns. Isaac Guerrero, who came in for the hurt Christian McCaffrey and the hurt Jordan Mason, also got hurt, but still had a really good day with 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. And then finally, last night on Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs stay really not undefeated because they've lost a game, but they're 12-1 and they win their 15th straight game by 1 possession. And you might be wondering how, and you might say to yourself, are you serious? Yes, I am dead serious. This is how the Chiefs get a victory off the uprights and in as time expires. And the Chiefs move to 12-1. Yeah, we feel you, bro. Can you believe that? They've won a game on a blocked field goal. They've won games on field goals. They've won games on pass interferences. Like, some of the ways that the Kansas City Chiefs have won this year is absolutely wild, right? Wild. But the old adage goes, good teams find a way to win. And in my opinion, I think that's good coaching, good mental. And you listen, good teams find a way to win. Does that mean they can be got in the postseason? Probably, but we will see. We will see as we get closer. But at the end of the day, they win the AFC West. They find another way to win a one-possession game, and the Chiefs in 5 over the last 7 years have won 12-plus football games, which does not happen for a lot of organizations. What's going to happen for us is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk college football playoff and Monday Night Football here on The Rome Show, 12-Ounce Sports X live. Back after this.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12-Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12-Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Yeah, The Rome Show, 12ouncesports.com. We broadcast live on YouTube and X. You can comment live on YouTube and X. I'd love to hear your opinions, love to hear your thoughts. Or you can just get us on social media, The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, 12OZ Sports, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube. You know the drill. We're here every day, 7 a.m., Monday through Friday. Wishing my sister Nicole a very happy birthday today. That's right. Happy birthday, Nicole. Hope you're enjoying your time. My sister lives in California, beautiful San Diego, California. So I'm sure she'll wake up this morning, nice little walk, get a little coffee, and absolutely dominate her birthday today as we're trying to dominate the Rome Show here on 12-Ounce Sports. If you look at your screen, okay, right now you have the college football playoff. The first official 12-team playoff bracket revealed after we had our conference championship games over the weekend. If you missed any of that action, here's your quick little rundown. Boise State on Friday took on UNLV in the Mountain West Championship. Boise State led by Ashton Janti, who quite possibly should be the first running back Heisman since Derrick Henry. Boise State beat UNLV 21-7. Also, Army won its first ever, really awesome for the Army program, won its first ever conference championship in the American Atlantic Conference, beating Tulane 35-14. Then in the Big Ten, Oregon beat Penn State 45-37. No lack of defense, offense there. No defense. That's what I meant to say. Georgia defeated Texas 22-19. Thank gosh their field goal kicker showed up for that one. Clemson, the biggest shock in the ACC championship game, held on to beat SMU. The SMU scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, 24 in the second half, outscoring Clemson 24-10 in the second half, but none more important than the final three by the kicker, career-long 56-yard field goal for the victory. Game ended much like the Dolphins' regulation. Good kickoff return, field goal to win it. And then Arizona State won their first Big 12 title, 45-19 over Iowa State. So that all happened, and you get to what you're looking at on your screen right now. Now, the big controversy last week was what's going to happen with Alabama. The committee pretty much screwed Miami from the jump by putting Alabama last week ahead of Miami. So we knew Miami had 0% chance of making this tournament once that happened. So it really came down to who's going to win the ACC championship game, who's going to win the SEC championship game, and what's going to happen from there. Well, because Clemson wins the ACC, you have a real debate about SMU. Georgia, they win the SEC, which actually almost makes it easier because you're like, well, Texas has to be in, even though they lost to Georgia in the SEC championship game. So you put both of those teams in. And the conversation really just comes down to, is it SMU, Indiana, SMU, Alabama for those last few spots? And they decide to go with SMU, Indiana. All right. So the 12th seed in this tournament is Clemson because they are, of the 5 conference champions, the lowest ranked conference champion. So they are the 12th seed. Then you have the top 4 conference champions. That is Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State. Okay. Because the ACC champion was not higher ranked than those other 4 champions. And then the rest are your wild card. The only thing I just like to throw out there, it's just me, just throwing it out there. Why are we cool with Ohio State and Penn State losing all of these games all of the time? They can never win a big game and always being in, but we yet don't have Miami in this playoff thing, right? Like, why is it that other teams can have a grace period? Why is it that Ohio State can keep losing to Michigan? Why is it that Ohio State can keep losing bad games and not be hurt by that? But yet, for the most part, Miami did everything they possibly could on that schedule and lost 2 games by combined 9 points and aren't in this thing. But Penn State's ranked 6th. Maybe I'm just not a big fan of Penn State. I think maybe Penn State is like the Cleveland Browns of a good football team for me in college. They're always going to be solid, but they're always going to lose. They're not going to win the big game. It's been proven. So we'll talk more about this as we get closer to that first set of games starting, but this is where the college football playoff ended after those results over the weekend. All right, let's finish this show. We are going to do our picks as our Monday Night Football preview for you. One thing I'd like to let the people know, if you have a child out there and you'll be watching some football this evening, Nickelodeon is doing the cool thing. They've done it in the past before where they turn, I don't know if I think it's Nickelodeon. Either way, just look for it on your TV provider, one of the 19 that you have to choose from. So ESPN, I guess, would be in conjunction with, since it's Monday Night Football, The Simpsons are playing the football game for the children. So take a look at that. Last year, I watched it. It was super, super cool. So I want to check it out this year as well. But let's break this thing down, and let's end this show for the people.
Ba 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 na na ba 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 na na oh ba 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 na na
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we said it before. We'll say it again. Bengals at Cowboys tonight on Monday Night Football. I must give you my record first, though. 166 and 131. Why? Because we went 2-1 over the weekend. If you were wondering, okay, we took the Bills at the -3.5. They lost by 2 out. We took the Panthers at plus 13.5. Ding, ding, ding. That's a winner because they lost by 6. We also took the Pittsburgh Steelers at the -6.5, and they won by 14. The other thing you can do is you can follow us on social media, The Rome Show 1, and we put out every Sunday our picks for the week, which I think we've been doing a pretty good job of. We started doing it 2 weeks ago. We'll finish it for the rest of the season and the postseason, and then we'll roll from there. So you can get your 3 picks in Daily Bananas Monday through Friday, which aren't always football-based, or during football season, you can go on to the Rome Show on social media, and you can check out every Sunday pick. Tonight in the National Football League, we have the Bengals favored by 5.5 over the Dallas Cowboys. Joe Burrows is having quite possibly the best season of his career, yet the Bengals sit at 4-8. It's the flip for the Dallas Cowboys. They're having a way worse season than anyone could have predicted. Dak Prescott's out for the remainder of the season. There are major question marks on whether or not Mike McCarthy is going to be the head coach moving forward. You lost Dan Quinn, your defensive coordinator, and that defense isn't as strong. You've won 2 in a row, though, but the Eagles and the Commanders are so good that you're really just fighting for a long shot wild card spot right now. So what are you going to get out of these 2 teams? And the Bengals defense is atrocious, quite possibly the worst defense in the league. That's why Joe Burrows and this team can score 35 points consistently and still be 4-8. So Joe Burrows, 30 touchdown passes on the year to 5 interceptions. So here's what we're going to take. I've been hammering the alternate passing yards for a quarterback, 225 plus. Usually the line will sit somewhere between 213 and 260. It depends on the quarterback. Joe Burrow's going to sit a little bit closer to 240 when it comes to his line on passing yards, especially playing a Cowboys defense that's giving them up. So I'm going to go 225 plus Burrow on the passing yards. I'm going to go Bengals plus 5.5. Do I think the Cowboys will win? Most likely, but I'll take the Bengals at plus 5.5. And then give me Cooper Rush at 2+ passing TDs. Yeah, I said that. Cooper Rush, 2+ pass TDs. That is because that is how bad the Bengals defense is. So Bengals plus 5.5. Joe Burrow over 225 plus passing yards, and Cooper Rush. I almost said Cooper Kupp with 2+ passing TDs. That is your Daily Bananas for the day. It's not a hot take. It's the belief that I have tonight. This is Andrew Romanella. It's the Rome Show, 12 OZ Sports. We're here every single day, and you need to tune in. Hey, have an electric Monday. Head to RomeShowShop.com to get your holiday gifts done. And Andrew Romanella saying peace.
Thank you for listening.